Welcome to Insights from iGCB Intellect. So, Dimple, it's really great to have you today with us for the podcast. So let me reflect back on your experience, right? You've been a CIO of a tier one bank for quite some years. And for the last 10 years, you've been with us at iGCB in the core technology space. So, what do you think is troubling the CIOs of today? What exactly is there in the mind space? Can you please share with us their mind map?
Yes. So it's not only today. It's, this used to be a pattern and still it's continued. So if you look at the CIO, he sits on his table in the morning. How many vendors comes around him? I say, we have open finance. You are looking for open finance. We need to change the open. We have AI. We have AI X, Y, Z. We have AI for that, AI for this. Then another guy walks in and he said, I want you to move to cloud native, everyone. And you need to transform your core banking. It has to be microservices, API, and so on. And then he sits there, then comes the head of cards or the head of retail, the head of digital transformation. And say, we need to transfer all this digital experience. We need to introduce this journey.
Quite a cluttered mind space,
it's
right?
Very cluttered. I've sometimes honestly, I feel sorry for them.
And there's no end to the jargons getting added. And these jargons, frankly, itself open a complete plethora of different dimensions,
Yes.
different technologies, different spaces, right? So how do you think a CIO should approach this?
So where we have seen the bankers or the IT, CIO should understand their problem. So that is where actually our design principles come in place. So as you know, you also coming from the banking background, Mithu. You know today, head of operation, CIO, and the business
do not see eye to eye.
Exactly. So this is another problem. And business head's key dimension is, okay, I'm very clear, I wanted to achieve my target. How am I going to achieve? X bank, go for and do digital transformation. They build a new app. So they go in and look at that app. I need exactly this. Then he runs to the CIO. CIO calls a vendor and the vendor one vendor comes with the UI UX design, the other vendor comes with the app build. Then CIO thinks about it, how can I orchestrate it? How can I bring all the APIs to structure it, orchestrate it? Then the SME head comes and said, oh, I need a platform to SME. How can I onboard my SME? Then he called for another bid. So this all are cluttered. So how can I take this nicely, create a nice canvas to achieve my end experience? Okay. So this is the journey that Intellect has embarked to make the CIOs, digital heads and CEOs and the chairman's life better.
So Dimple, as you were telling me about CIOs' belief and their progress and what's really bothering them, right? And how when they reach out to the vendors, technology vendors, if I may say, they further are adding solutions in silos. But I think the problem statement begins with where CIO needs to really create a cartographic view of what exactly they need to achieve and how they need to achieve.
Exactly.
So can you reflect on how they can identify some of the patterns and anti-patterns and structure the unstructured?
So, Mithu, you cannot ask a CIO to find this because CIO needs to run their EOD, SOD, make sure the balance statement is there, reports are there. Make sure their branches are functioning, make sure their channels is disrupted. So they're not there to sit down and look for this. Even retail head, it's not. That is the difference that Intellect brings onto the table. We are not just technology partners. We are beyond. We are not just providing technology for the banking industry. We have gone beyond that. A classic example I would like to bring it, Mithu, when we venture into a particular country, Recently, we are venturing into a couple of European countries or Europe region, where we have gone and studied the beyond, we're going one step beyond banking. So we study the culture, behavior of each and every persona. When you say each and every persona, you might ask how we're going to study that, Dimple. No, we categorize. Today you have AI. It's easy to categorize it. We don't use only AI, but we study their behavior. What is their expectation? What they look for? You know, Gen Zs and so on. There are patterns. So we identify patterns and anti-patterns of the customer behavior before even we getting into the digital engagement space. We're not going to give and say, yeah, look, you have customer onboarding, you have banking services, payments, transfers and all. We know all the payment, SEPA, or if you take NPSs, everything we know country-wise, we know what are the payment patterns required in Canada, payment patterns, all the wild trails you required in all these countries. No, that is there. That is part of the technology provider. That is born feature of ours. So we have understand the culture. The other thing is, today the most challenge that everyone faces is that me as a customer, I'm experiencing everything. So I'll tell a classic example. One day my daughter said, you are the CIO, you know banking, you talk technology. You are creating the experience layer to your banks and customers. But do you know really what I want? So this really started disturbing me. So that is where we said, no, I need to go beyond bank, or not we need to go beyond banking.
And that makes perfect sense, right? Because customers today are not just privy to banks as an experience platform. They are looking and experiencing a complete lifestyle which is filled with multiple experiences and frankly quite disruptive in nature.
Exactly.
Right?
But don't forget one thing. So today I experience Zomato, Uber, and Grab, and then Amazon, and all these are apps that I associate.
Absolutely.
But the banking is different. One thing is experience and how you can engage your customer, but there is a couple of other things, because we are jammed in a couple of regulatory requirements. Security, because the customer comes to you with a trust. So I put all my funds with you. You look at mutual funds, wealth, investments, IPOs, all these are part of the banking journey. So I am providing trust, confidence, and engagement and experience. When I say I mean the banks. That is the key role of the bank. And it's very difficult, because if I take, it's like, you have 5 cops standing outside, central bank, regulators, and everyone, and then the performance, everything matters. It's not like Amazon. If I don't get my product, next day they deliver it. But why you go to the Amazon? Why you purchase stuff from Amazon? Because they have a return.
Experience, speed, security.
Yes.
And I can just keep adding more.
Yes, that is where the speed, security, trust. So I know even if it's get delivered to somebody else, the next minute they will deliver my order.
Absolutely.
So that is where the bank is all about. And we look up for the bank. So when you're getting into that space, you need to handle multiple elements.
Absolutely. So in fact, Dimple, this brings me to a very, very important challenge, right? How do we really get to achieving this for a bank with the complex systems that it's sitting on, right? There is a distance to walk through. And it's not just about technology, because there are so many technology players talking the same language. What is it that really sets GCB apart, the digital engagement platform, apart from the market?
Yes. So if you look at today's world, you have everyone look at the platform which can integrate with all the downstream system and the external system. How you can or coexist with the external providers, fintech partners, e-commerce. That is one angle. The second angle is how I can easily compose a journey. So how fast I can compose a journey when it comes orchestration, data elements, transaction elements. Then comes, that is basically business architecture. How can create the business architecture? Then comes the experience. So the experience, how many clicks? It's structured in emac.ai architecture. It's an event-driven, microservice-based, API-driven, full headless because it's API driven, and
And
it's
cloud based, right?
yes, it's fully cloud native.
Absolutely.
And it's cloud native. It's can be hosted in Amazon, AWS, Google Cloud,
Cloud.
Oracle, which has and it's fully headless. When I claim headless, that means we have all the experience as well as inquiry APIs ready in the orchestration layer with the data layer. So if we take customer onboarding, rules, everything is structured, available. It's a matter of changing the orchestration and bringing an experience. So experience is different to different. What I would like to wear, you don't like to wear. So bank to bank experience is different. So it always takes time for everyone who comes to build that experience.
And
So
absolutely.
it's our experience is
You're right.
composable, it's style sheet based, it's easy to create. You know how it's
And it's
easy
not
to
just
create.
bank to bank, right? It's market to market.
Exactly.
The needs change. And you're not looking just at banks, right? You're looking at credit unions. You're looking at so many different
Exactly.
players now who have realized the need for this platform. So anything on that?
Yes, so other thing is, I wanted to move to that side as well, not only banking. So today we are focusing on the credit unions beyond banking. So when you say beyond banking, that is a true lifestyle banks. So credit unions requirements are different. They have wanted to create a more member base, hosted platform, multi-tenancy and tenancy awareness to reduce their cost.
Absolutely. And they are the epitome of keeping customers at the heart of everything they
Exactly. For them, it's a member, it's not a customer. So the member is more close to you than the customer. In our words, in Intellect words, even the customer is very close to us. So we consider customer as partner. We always says we are there to delight your customer's customer. When you say that's a very strong word, Mithu, where we looked at multiple elements: experience, integration, orchestration, security, as well as regulatory requirement, eKYC, because we support identity management, document reading, capturing, because we have all the enterprise services. I think, Mithu, you need to have another session with me to take you through all our product stack, which we offer across the digital engagement layer.
Absolutely, absolutely. And in fact, Dimple, coming on to another aspect of what you do so beautifully at iGCB, right? The talent. How is talent that you're picking? And it's a very unique combination of talent that you're working with, right? How is that changing the face of what you're doing?
Yes. So I like to say this. The talent is the most important element is human capital or talent is the most important thing. That is if I say, it's a heart and it's everything, because software industry is all about people. So now what we have looked at it in a very different way. Our teams are very different structured. So we have techno-functional bankers having a different life experience. If I call it, my team is very young. It's Gen Zs. And even in Gen Zs, we have a different waves. So where we have recruited a young girl who is a sociologist, who's studying. So she has empathy. She brings empathy. Digital needs empathy. So the digital, when we start, we do all the sales, walk away. No, we engage with the customer. We moved on to the next step of, which we call in a traditional ways, post-sales. It's not the post-sale, it's an engagement layer. So we position the product and not a product, it's more like a experience. And then we moved with the bank team to build that experience for them. So we bring people or the team who have knowledge is more on focusing on empathy and how they look at the customer's experience. Then we have a different team. The product manager is very unique. When we picked him in a different ways. We studied his entire persona, what he likes to do, what is his lifestyle. He's a traveler. He likes to travel. And he's always liked to live with the technology, new experience. And he's very focused on what he dress, how we color code everything, because that is where the experience comes in as a product. And he's a techno banker. And he has banking experience with technology. So these are the elements that we have looked at when we pick that persona. So
Great.
that matters when you're creating your product. And then we have a very young tech team. When you say young, 30s, 20s, 30s, and mid 30s and early 40s, which we have combined them and created that technique. Plus, the most important, we have brought in very experienced bankers as well. So the bankers, things like bankers. So if I know how you behave, I can address your problem. If I don't know how you behave, it's very difficult to address it.
Absolutely.
So that is how we have created this team to bring the experience, engagement, technology. When you say technology, this has multiple elements. Integration, orchestration, composability, and comes the most important part is the organic AI. Organically, how I can bring AI intelligence into every journey. So we have brought in that. So today we have around 670 plus user stories across our engagement.
And they're
plan.
already available for our customers to pick and work with.
Yes, and it's a matter of how you want to pay it, how you want to design. It's a matter of designing.
As we say, orchestrating.
Yes,
Right?
orchestrating. It's reusing the same.
Absolutely. And that makes it a beautiful symphony.
Yes.
That's great. So Dimple, just coming on to the catch line, right? You talk about elevating experience, igniting growth,
Yes.
and unlocking the maximum value for your customer. So how do you go about achieving that? And any proof to the matter? Would you
Yes.
like to share any experience with the customer?
Yes. So we have gone live with a few customers with all the experience, starting with onboarding and the banking services. So we have categorized it in a nice way. Onboarding, enterprise onboarding, and the banking services, beyond banking and engagement services. So engagement is unique. So why you call it beyond banking? We go one step ahead. Today, our platform brings a capability of integrating with different ecosystems. When you're integrating with different ecosystems, CIO or a head of digital might think it's very common. No. For an example, if you wanted to integrate, I'll go to the high end. If you want to integrate with Dior or Louis Vuitton app, they might have APIs or they might have SDK or they might give you a URL.
I would love to bank with that.
Of course, yes. I'll tell you why. So it's quite expensive, and today everyone, young generation, love to associate with it. How you can associate with it is the banks can engage with them, get a SDK, embed the SDK, or you can talk to the APIs, which we do it within 15 days, around 100 to 120 APIs integration, render all the services in your app to create the super app capability.
Great.
But the most important is, today you have loyalty points in your pocket. But how much are you utilizing to purchase a product? How unique, in my experience, would be if I can bring all those features, embed, I'm just imagining, if I embed a Dio app into my mobile app and then integrate to the payment, buy now, pay later within the app, utilizing my loyalty points based on my transaction, purchases, everything, and I can take a better discount and move into buy now, pay later spontaneously. So I can, a couple of experience. I purchase a product, obtain a loan, BNPL, then I go and avail my loyalty points. With that, I get an additional coupon as well, which I can utilize in some other purchase, or I can pay my utility bill payments.
Absolutely.
Not only that, today unique thing. I am little a reckless driver, so I always have little bit of
Not that I've
RTA.
not experienced.
Yes, so RTH. So it on my app, which we are launched in the market, in the app itself, on the go, I get an alert in my banking app that I have a penalty. So whether I can pay through my loyalty point, this is a very unique journey. And pay through my loyalty points, or I can pay through and immediately clear it out. So that is the unique experience we are looking, or have offered to our customer, which we call as lifestyle banking.
And absolutely, you bring us to infinite possibilities that customers of different personas, different countries, and different sizes can actually explore with your solution.
Exactly.
Right. So let's just and this practically brings me to my last question on any customer experience or any customer who you may have been able to offer a transformative experience which changed the way they are banking today.
Yes. So there are multiple. If I go to countries like Kenya, or because if you really look at countries like African countries, are customers who are heavily using mobile apps, and their life is more linked to mobile transaction, banking through the mobile than the other countries. The digital space is very strong in Africa. It's and they are very cautious about the security as well, and even features like cryptocurrencies and all. It's basically now have been embarked in that market, or started in that market. So we have taken them through the end-to-end journey: customer onboarding, banking services, beyond banking services, including services like lifestyle banking to create a super app. Not only that, so today banks are not looking only providing customer-centric banking services. Banks always wants to look at banking as a service. Because personally, if you look at, coming from the banking industry, I don't want somebody to venture into our space. So you cannot stop somebody coming. It's always good to
Walk up to them.
walk up to them, and where they onboard all the telecom companies and so on, and provide the banking services. The most importantly, you can provide the sandbox, which they can create the user experience and launch apps, which we have done in countries like Mauritius and so on. This unique banking as a service. So these are the unique services that Intellect offer. And I want to move one step. You might be definitely engaging with my other team members. So the Intellect, it's not only the beauty, it has a strong domain packs covering core journeys, as well as covering the end-to-end digital origination, card origination, underwriting process, and AI, embedded AI, or rather I've said organically embedded AI journeys, and loan management and the collection.
Absolutely. And I think the
And the
beauty
trade
of
finance as well,
Of course.
to support retail, SMEs, and corporate.
That's brilliant. And that just talks about and tells us how comprehensive an interface could be for a solution like this. Right? Which actually brings it all together in one package. So thank you, Dimple, for some really insightful conversations that we are always able to have with you. And with this, we come to the end of Insight from Insight, powered by iGCB. And do stay tuned for a lot more insightful conversations with our leaders.